My wife ended our 6-year marriage with, "By the way, I've been seeing Adam. We're in love." My wife ended our 6-year marriage with words that shattered me. "By the way, I've been seeing Adam. We're in love." Those words have echoed in my mind ever since, as if carved into the walls of my memory. I remember standing in our apartment in Lyon, the sunlight spilling across the parquet floors, yet everything felt cold. The city outside bustled with life, but in that moment, mine came to a halt. At first, I could not comprehend what had just happened. 6 years of shared dreams, laughter, arguments, and fragile reconciliation swept away, as though they were nothing more than scattered papers caught in the wind. I stayed in that apartment for days, walking through each room like a ghost, touching the edges of the furniture we had chosen together, smelling traces of her perfume still clinging to the curtains. One evening, I left the apartment and wandered through the old streets of Vieux Lyon. The narrow alleys, the Renaissance facades, the scent of fresh bread from the boulangeries of it was familiar, yet distant. I found myself drawn to the banks of the Saône, where the reflections of the lights danced upon the water. The world seemed unchanged, but my place in it had collapsed. The weeks that followed were a blur of silent mornings and sleepless nights. I buried myself in work, spending long hours at the office, though concentration slipped through my fingers. Each time I saw a couple holding hands on the tram, something inside me tightened. Every corner of the city seemed to whisper her absence. Then came the day I ran into Adam. It was in a small cafe near Bellecour, one we had once visited together. He was seated at a corner table, looking relaxed, as though nothing in the world had shifted. I froze, my chest pounding, but instead of anger, a strange calmness spread over me. For the first time, I realized that the betrayal was no longer mine to carry. It was theirs. That night, I returned home and began to pack. At first it was mechanical folding shirts, wrapping books, sorting through drawers. But with each item I placed in the suitcase, I felt as though I was releasing a weight. The life I had clung to was gone. All that remained was a shell. I left the apartment before dawn, the streets still quiet, the air cool against my face. I took a train south to Provence, to a small village surrounded by lavender fields. There, I rented a modest room overlooking the hills. Each morning, I walked along the winding paths, breathing the fragrance of the flowers, listening to the hum of bees. Slowly, I began to feel alive again. It has been months now. The pain still lingers, but it no longer defines me. France, with its beauty and contradictions, has become both the stage of my heartbreak and the canvas of my rebirth. I no longer look back at what was taken from me. Instead, I look ahead to what I might yet build.